Hello everyone, I'm Irving B. Hill for Comcast, and a very warm welcome to you from Richmond, the General Assembly. We have a very exciting, hard-working, dedicated member of the General Assembly with us, Jeff Frederick. Good to be with you.
Good to be here.
What time do you get in the morning?
Well, typically I probably get in about 6:30 or 7. We often have early committee meetings, particularly before crossover. So I head off to committee meetings and then go off to another committee meeting. Subcommittees usually first and then committees. And then we have meetings that we have set up with either constituents or groups. And then caucus, the House Republican caucus, and the Democrats also have their caucus at the same time. And then on to session, and gets for a quick morning.
Let's talk about working together a little bit. You brought that up, the caucus. Is there I know there's a Northern Virginia caucus too, as I remember.
There is a Northern Virginia caucus. It's not as bipartisan as I think that we might like it to be. I'm not sure why. I've only been here a year, but perhaps it's because there's a lot of conflicts at that time that a lot of people aren't able to particularly make it. But my understanding right now is that there's not a whole lot of folks that attend. I would really like to see us do a better job of being more cohesive with our regions. I think that if the Northern Virginia delegation, Republicans and Democrats, were able to come together and work on issues such as transportation, I think we'd be able to get a lot more done. And at the same time, the Hampton Roads folks as well.
Well, you have that vitality of youth and ready to go, as I was talking before. You have a lot of energy, and so it's very good to see that youth along with some of the others that have been here for many years. Tell me about Bill Howell. I'm personally an admirer of his because I know he has a great value system.
Well, I also admire him quite a bit as well. One of the things that has stricken me most about him is his faith. I'm also a pretty faithful guy, and he believes that God has a plan and that we need to do as much as we can with everything that's in our power, but then leave the rest up to him, and I think that's important. And I admire that greatly. I admire the fact that he wants to be an inclusive leader, that he wants to try to lead from the chair as objectively as possible, even though we have the majority. He wants to make sure that the minority also has their voice, and he's fair.
Tell me about your committees.
Well, I serve on the Education Committee. I also serve on the Privileges and Elections Committee, which deals with election issues and, and issues related to the membership of the House and redistricting and those sorts of things. And I'm also on the Health, Welfare, Institutions Committee, which deals with health issues. I have a bill, actually, that we've been working on for quite a while coming up this morning, the newborn screening bill that will expand the tests, the genetic tests done to newborns from 9 to about 32 or 36. It doesn't cost very much extra, but it could do a lot to save a lot of lives and improve a lot of lives, and so we're excited about that.
Any other you're a patron or co-patron of?
Well, yeah, I also, not all on the committees that I serve on, but I've sponsored the Keep Our Promise Act of 2005. Basically what that would do is that would undo the car tax cap that the General Assembly placed on car tax relief last year, put the car tax relief back into the posture that it was prior to 2004 and get us back on track for completely phasing it out. I think that that's an important thing to do. It's a promise that a supermajority of us in the General Assembly and the governor all made promises to get rid of, and now it's time to make good on that promise.
Share with us, if you would, a little bit about your district and some of their needs and issues.
Well, I live in Woodbridge, and my district is eastern Prince William County, which includes Woodbridge, Dumfries, Quantico, Triangle, Montclair, and then some little parts of the outskirts of Manassas as well, down Route 234 and Fuller Road. But my district, as I said, it goes right down the eastern side of Prince William County, which includes all of the Potomac. I love to sail. I love the water. And so obviously environment's an issue for a lot of things. We have a landfill in Dumfries that is very problematic that we need to do something about. One of our top issues in our district, obviously, same as in Northern Virginia, is transportation. We need to make sure that we do everything that we can to fund it appropriately to get Northern Virginia its fair share, to make sure that we're encouraging sluggers and commuters doing what they do, and making sure that transportation dollars are going to transportation, not bureaucracy, and that the Transportation Trust Fund is locked up, and those funds already dedicated to transportation are going to transportation. Education is a top issue in my district. That's why I've made it my #1 priority. I spend a lot of time on it. I've formed an education advisory committee made up of constituents in my district that are teachers or administrators. We've come up with a lot of great ideas. One of those ideas is dealing with some of the teacher certification issues. I've submitted legislation, and it passed the House the other day, I believe yesterday, that would make it easier for second career teachers to become second career teachers. I think we need to encourage folks that are coming out of the private sector to go and use that talent, that experience that they have, to go be teachers and bring that experience in the classroom. We don't want to minimize the requirements. We don't want to water down the requirements, the great requirements that we have for teachers and teacher certification, because those are important. Just you know, if, for example, if you have a guy who's been doing chemistry for 30 years, he's been a chemist. Well, I don't think he should have to go take a class in chemistry to teach it. He should be able to waive out of those requirements if he's going to go teach chemistry in the schools. Of course, he'll need to take other classes to help him learn how to be an effective teacher, but I think he's okay on chemistry. And then, of course, taxes is an important issue in my district. I already mentioned the car tax. I submitted legislation, and it went through the Finance Subcommittee yesterday successfully to restore the senior tax deduction that we got rid of last year. A number of us are working on other pieces of legislation, like getting rid of the sales tax on food, getting rid of the accelerated sales tax collection. That's an interesting thing. A few years ago, they did this sort of budget trick of requiring small businesses that pay sales tax. Say if a business like Appliance Connection, Supervisor Noe's business, if they expect that they're going to generate $10,000 in sales tax by the end of the month, instead of paying it at the end of the month once they've collected it, right now in Virginia they're required to pay it before, at the beginning of the month, before they've collected it. And that's put a lot of small businesses in a bind. And as the Vice Chairman on the Small Business Commission, I was elected this month, actually January, to be the Vice Chairman of the Small Business Commission. I know how important it is that we need to make sure that we encourage small businesses and not discourage them. We need to make sure that we lift them up and not knock them down, and do everything that we can to ensure their vitality. I mean, they're the largest employer in Virginia. They're the largest employer in the country. They generate more jobs than anybody else, and that's something that we need to make sure that we recognize.